Check one, check.
Okay, welcome to Let's Talk About That with S. Eckert and G. Lenda. And in our podcast today, our video podcast, brand new, first one, right?
Yes, it
so
is.
Exciting.
So exciting. Yeah.
And what are we about, G. Renda?
What are
Not G. Renda. What are we? G. Lenda?
G. Renda.
Yeah, we're
not going down that road. Yeah. So let's talk about that. It's just tough topics that most couples don't talk about.
Right.
And they're simple things that we think we can work through, right?
Well,
we do.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes we fight. Yeah.
But it's real. It's authentic.
Real. Totally real. Yeah. You can't invent this shit, right?
No.
Yeah.
And
topics that people go to bed at night, somebody's sleeping on the couch or they're not talking or they don't talk for 2 days.
Right.
And
because you're 22 and I'm 23, right?
Right.
And we come from a vast experience that we have, like our tickle trunk, let's call it our tickle trunk.
Oh, but the tickle trunk too includes friends and family and ex-coworkers.
For sure.
Coffee room talk, for sure.
Yeah, but we don't necessarily, we don't know what we're not talking about. We do have experience. Like, because we do get topics from, like you said, this person, that person.
Oh, at the grocery store. Getting
the grocery store,
for
yeah.
Sure.
But we have a pretty good background, I would say, an experienced background.
Right, because we are 22 and 23,
22
right?
and 23, right?
Right.
So today's topic would be, and we fought with it. We didn't fight with this. We
did. Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
But
I won, right?
You slept on the couch last night, so what does that mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like I'm peaking right now.
What are you peeking at?
I feel like I'm distorting.
It's probably because you didn't iron your shirt today. Look,
Yeah, no, I'm okay.
Your cuffs are turned over. Who dressed you?
Well, you did.
The other one is too.
The ironing lady.
Yeah, we don't have one.
Okay, so sorry, what was the topic for today?
Cell phone etiquette.
Cell phone etiquette.
Oh my God. There are a million things on what to do and what not to do. And what
to do and what not to do.
And what really hurts your
today's anchor of society, right here.
Oh, that's interesting. You have a cover on yours and I don't.
Yeah, I do. You know what? That's a personal choice, coverless or not, right? It's like a nudist beach, right? And sometimes you wear your top and sometimes you don't.
It's optional.
It's optional. No, you know what? That's a pretty good segue into why do we have a cover. For myself, against personal opinions, my cell phone is a personal cell phone, personal computer, and what's on it is my business and my business alone. Would that be a fair statement?
Yeah. No, I give you that. Mine is as well. I don't have a cover on mine.
For sure it is. But how many times have you been sitting in the office in the corporate world and your boss's phone is on the desk and it's face up? We'll use yours for example. It's face up, no cover, right? And then he's always peering over and looking at it while he's having an important meeting with you, right? And then he's looking at it, and then he picks it up and texts it, and he picks the phone up, and then he flips it over, screen down, right? Tells you one out of two things.
He doesn't want to see. He doesn't want you to see what he's doing.
That's right. That's one thing. Or the other side is he's giving you his undivided attention, which we all know is a bunch of bullshit, right? For sure. Because
it depends, because if his phone buzzes or beeps and he picks it up again to see his response from the text he just sent out, he's not giving you his full
time, undivided attention. No.
Have you ever called a boss out on that and said,
I haven't. No.
I have.
No.
Yeah,
I just quit and walk out.
Oh. Okay. No, I give him one chance. If I'm giving you my time, you have to give me your time.
Right.
It's respect.
It's
for
respect.
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And the other side to it, you can have your phone back. The other side to it is covers or no covers, right? So yours has no cover, and most people flip it over. Mine, I just fold the cover over and set it on the table. Same, it does the exact same thing as flipping it over, right?
It's password protected, though, is it not?
For sure it is, yeah. Yeah.
So you need that second layer of security to have a cover on it.
You know
and
what?
password protection.
It's nobody's business.
No, I agree.
And everybody in the world has shit on their phone that they don't want to share with people, right? Because it is a personal computer, and it's nobody's business but your own, in my opinion.
So how would you react if somebody went through your phone, checked your email, your call list, your texts?
Done. Yeah, no doubt would
whether
be
it was a job or a partner or whatever. Done.
Absolutely done. Yeah, because that's a violation of your personal property. It's no different than somebody breaking into your house and going through your shit.
Yeah, no, I give you that. Yeah.
So let's talk about that in the sense of with your partner, right? So do you share your password with your partner?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I do. But I, for emergency reasons only, right? So say they drop their toilet or their phone in the toilet.
The toilet in the phone.
The toilet in the phone, yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
And they need to make a call out because I don't have a landline, right? They need to use my phone. But I would expect that they would not go through my texts, emails, phone call list, or whatever. Because if they do, they're violating a serious trust.
Serious trust issues.
There is no reason to distrust what I'm doing.
Unless you give them one prior.
Well, that's like putting a friggin' GPS on phones. I have friends that do that. Are you freaking kidding me? So they look on their phone, and I'll say, hey, what time are you guys coming over? And they'll go, oh, I just got to check and see where Billy is.
Billy, yeah.
And they go, oh, yeah, he's like 3 blocks from home. And I go, how do you know that? The GPS tracker on their phone. What the hell is that? That is mistrust.
You know what?
Let's be serious.
It's not even that issue by itself. Obviously, we talked about it a little bit prior to the show, but you just said, what the hell is that? That deserves a what the fuck is that? Because that is the biggest violation, in my opinion.
So their rationalization to that was Billy does a lot of snowmobiling, and I need to know where he is in case his snowmobile dies or quadding or whatever.
Right.
But you know what? Billy could be buying her a friggin' birthday present.
Could be.
And she could see that he's at the diamond store. What the hell?
Yeah.
So she's totally
ruined her. Billy could be a girl too, right?
Billie Jean, maybe.
Yeah,
but
yeah, for sure.
But so then she's ruined her present because she knows she's going to get diamonds for her birthday.
Right.
So, I mean, come on.
But it begs a question. Like, okay, I get you're snowmobiling, you're quadding, you're doing these outdoor activities, and you should never do that shit by yourself. You should always, do the buddy system, right?
Definitely, because those things break down all the time, for sure.
And sorry, but the cat is trying to upchuck a hairball right now. He's probably coming through.
It's the season, for sure.
He's snowmobiling right now.
Yeah. You know what? We should put a chip on him.
We should. But the other part of the reason, or not reason, but the other part of the bullshit in that in the outdoor activities is cell phones. These types of cell phones with the tracking systems on them were not invented before snowmobiles.
Okay.
Or quads.
Okay.
Or motorcycles, or dirt bikes, whatever. And back in those days, if my memory serves me correctly, we didn't worry about that shit, right? It was a buddy system. And what are the odds that your snowmobile's gonna? You got 2 snowmobilers out there on the trail ride, and they run into the same fucking tree. What are the odds of that happening?
Yeah, probably not.
Not
likely.
good, right?
Yeah.
Point is, if I had a tracking system on you, that would be very uncool.
Well, it would be, but you know what? You'd have to know my password before you put a tracking system, and you don't know my password.
No. And I don't want to know what it is.
And you're comfortable with that because there's no trust issues, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
There's bigger issues in the world than that of a cell phone. You know what I mean?
And if you have to put a GPS tracking system on my phone, there are bigger issues.
Yeah. And you know what? I'll be honest, not to stay on this point too long, but I have shit on here I don't want people to see, for sure. As Most people do. And if you are one of those people that doesn't agree with us, please comment below. Please.
For sure, we want to hear from you. Absolutely. Maybe there's something we're missing, right?
Probably not.
No.
But it's pretty good. It's controversial.
It is.
You know,
it is. But back to, what works for us may not work for the neighbors or may not work for some of the viewers, right? Maybe they just have to have a GPS tracking system and they're both comfortable with that. Like, who are we to judge, right?
No, I'll judge that for sure. Yeah, I would.
No, but that wouldn't work at our house. But what works at our house doesn't necessarily work at everybody else's house, right? I mean,
I get it, but I would say the world's pretty wound tight with this shit right now. You know what I mean? I think so.
Yeah.
Little too.
Because you can never
sensitive.
Unplug. Frick me, right?
Yeah. Like I said, the anchor of society, right?
How long's the longest you've unplugged for? Could you go a whole day?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I could do it. I went to Mexico once and threw the phone in the safe, right? And you go and you check your voicemail or whatever it is because you got to check in with the kids, right? But yeah, you don't need it if you are there with the person you want to be there with. What the fuck do you need it for?
Okay, so say you're not on holidays, just a regular day, a regular day. Could you text me and go, you know what, I'm off the grid today, gone for 8 hours? Could you do that?
Not using my phone at all for anything?
Yeah, just off the grid, just completely unplugged because you're on a project or you're working on something.
If I'm in the studio, I could, that. If I'm building a deck, right? Whatever. Yeah, I got to be busy. If I'm just sitting there like a lump on a log on my couch or something, no, I'm going to pick up my phone for sure. Even while you're watching TV, maybe you're binge watching Breaking Bad or something, right? Or Yellowstone, right?
Oh, Yellowstone, that's good.
And you get up and go for a bite to eat, a snacky snacks as I call them. I don't need to pick up my phone. But if I go for a dart, right? Or if we take a break and stretch your legs, I'm going to pick up my phone and have a peek or whatever. What did I miss? Nothing. So
what if so you've unplugged, we've watched 3 episodes of Yellowstone, right? You've been off the grid for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And you get 8 missed messages. You open up your phone and they're all from the same person.
Yeah, aggravating.
Because they expect instant. We live in this instant society, for God's sakes. Everybody expects, and it might be something as silly as, hey, sucker, how's your day? You don't reply. What's going on? What are you up to today?
I don't know if I know anybody that does that.
Want to meet for supper or, whatever. And so this 3-hour window has passed and you haven't replied. And they go, well, what's the matter? Is he pissed off at me?
Yeah.
Like, did I do something?
Where's the fire, right?
Where's the fire? And then the last text is, call me ASAP.
Yeah.
So we're taking the break from Yellowstone and you call this person and they go, what's going on? Yeah. And you go, well, what's so urgent? Why did I have to call you ASAP? Well, I just thought, we could meet for lunch tomorrow, which isn't really an ASAP type text, right?
That's
even pretty
close,
casual.
Yeah.
But you get elevated because you go, call me ASAP. Somebody's died, right? You're in a car accident. Like, what the hell's happened?
Yeah.
But we live in this instant society where people expect a response within the first 3 minutes. And think about it. If you're working a corporate job and you're in a meeting for an hour even if you meet a girlfriend for supper, like if I was gone for 2 hours and I'm meeting a girlfriend for supper and you text me 5 times and you fully know that I'm meeting a girlfriend for supper, I'm off the grid and you should respect that, right?
Yeah. But you know what? The term off the grid actually means something and I didn't know that till I met you. If I'm going out, right? So I'm headed out and running some errands or whatever. I didn't say that I'm off the grid, but you actually tell me that you're off the grid. You say, listen, fucker, I'm off the grid.
My phone's in my purse.
And
I'm not answering.
but the first time you said that to me, I'm like, I don't know what that means. Off the grid. What does that mean? So it's nice because I use it too. Now I use it in my vocabulary. And it's really nice because then your partner doesn't have to worry about where you are because there's no trust issues because there's no GPS tracker, right? But
which there'd never be.
Yeah. But you're off the grid. Which means, okay, so here's a good point to this. if you tell me you're off the grid, that's great. I'm not going to reach out to you. But if you come home, there is no but. Let's just do a scenario.
When you come home?
Yeah, when you come home and you say, oh, guess who I chatted with today, right? You know, I don't know.
Karen.
We all know a Karen. and you chatted with Karen. I'll say, oh, really? Like, what, did you run into her at the mall or something? And you say, no, actually, I texted her. That could be a problem. Now, it could be problematic because, well, listen, because when did you text her? Because you told me you were off the grid, so I didn't bug you, you know, but you're busy texting other people, so you're not really off the grid. You're just telling me that I'm off the grid. So that could be problematic, right? Not that we've done that. I'll find out later when I check your GPS tracker, right?
Yeah, right, because you know my password.
Right.
Okay.
So there's that, right? And
so I think the only time you had a problem when I was off the grid is when I went to the spa with my girlfriend for a weekend.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm off the grid because, you know, you're getting massages and eating supper out and drinking tons of wine and getting your nails done. And you had a problem with that because that was too long.
That was my first experience
of being off the grid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So when if you remember correctly, when you came home, I'm like, okay, walk me through this because I had training wheels on at that point. What does that mean? So if I reached out to you and said, hey, you know, where do I find clean sheets? You know, or where's my
right, like you change the sheets,
right? Well, sometimes you have to, or where's my sick jammies?
Your sick jammies, right?
Or because I'm looking for something. Now I'm looking for an excuse, really, just to say, hey, what are you doing?
I'm thinking about you. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of, right? But that doesn't always come across that way, right?
No. And if it's a text, it could have tone in it. Oh. And tone is never a good thing in text.
No. No. Every text that you write, every text that you read can be said in both ways. It can be read good and it can be read bad, the same line of text, right?
It depends what frame of mind you're in, and it depends how it's written, right? And some things should not be text. They should be pick up the phone or face-to-face, right? Because people hide behind their texts all the time,
They do, but hang on a sec. You said something about...
Tone.
Well, not even before that. It depends how they're written. So if I'm texting with my kids that are, 20, I had them when I was 3, right? So because it's punctuation is not a real big thing.
Well, spelling is a thing of the past.
Isn't it, though?
For sure.
I have a hard time reading some of these. You know what? That's a whole other show.
It's cryptic, yeah.
It's very cryptic.
That is a whole other show.
It is a whole other show.
But tone in adult text, so we both know how to spell, right?
Right. And do we use caps or no caps?
I don't use caps.
Yeah, I don't. You know what I use is proper punctuation.
With periods and commas and question marks.
And, like nouns and pronouns, those have capital first letters, right? Periods, apostrophes.
If you did text all in uppercase, that's yelling. And you know what? You can have tone in a text without using uppercase. It's just by the words used. Probably also too what frame of mind you were in when you last saw me. Right?
Yeah. So
say we were arguing about something, right? Like, I don't know, what we're going to have for supper. By the way, what are we having for supper tonight?
Yeah.
You're on supper tonight.
No.
You're on supper tonight.
I'm on supper tomorrow.
So, no.
Yeah. No. I'm off the grid tomorrow, actually.
I don't fucking think so. No, but so if we were arguing about what to have for supper, because I want chicken, I love chicken. You want steak. Well, frick, we had burgers last night. I don't want steak tonight. Right? So I go my way, you go your way, and I text you and I go, we're having chicken tonight. Right. And you read that as tone because we've already had this conversation that you don't want chicken.
And did you use caps?
No,
chicken in caps?
No, I never use uppercase.
Because what I heard you say in that text is you said we're having chicken tonight.
And you're cooking it.
Okay.
You're barbecuing it.
What I read was still the same punctuation. What I read was, listen, fucker.
We're not having steak.
We're not having steak. And you're sleeping on the couch.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
And don't burn my chicken when you barbecue it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not my intention.
You know what? I'm actually going to have another drink then. If I was in the bar with a buddy or something, or I'm going to read that and go, yeah, I guess I'm on the couch tonight.
So because you're on the couch, you're just gonna say, "Fuck, I'll have pizza at the bar." I'm not making chicken.
I don't think I would do that.
No, that wouldn't be a good plan.
Yeah.
No, that would not be good.
And then, my buddy that I'm sitting with might say, well, why? What pissed you off? What made you so upset? Well, read it. And it says, we're having chicken tonight.
And he'll go, what the hell is wrong with you? Chicken's good.
He would actually laugh.
Yeah, he would. And he'd go, you are wound friggin' tight.
Better order me one too, right? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's just misconstrued.
Yeah.
And there's, that might not even be a really good analogy, but there's tone in every text for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it can send people sideways.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes those could be avoided if you just picked up the phone. Like if I phoned you.
There's a concept.
If I phoned you and I go, hey, sucker, I'm at the grocery store and I just picked up some chicken and I'm going to make it with pasta because I know you love pasta. So that's supper tonight. And you go, hey, that sounds great, babe, right?
Pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
But because I said we're having chicken tonight, you derail.
Yeah. And I would probably follow that up with a phone conversation, like you said. But I'd say, hey, come on, babe, can we do steak tomorrow night? For sure. All in, right?
And then you'd say, hey, how about you pick up some flowers for yourself?
Yeah.
They're on me, right?
Yeah.
Because I love chicken.
Yeah. And get an extra card so I can use it next time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Do you remember back in the day, way before cell phones, like probably before dirt was invented? It was a long time ago. On the farm. Like,
I don't, but my mom grew up on the farm, and they had this thing called the party line.
The party line, yeah. And it wasn't a 1-800 line, was it?
No.
Like a 1-800, come do this to me.
No.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, okay, a party. Okay, I'm catching up.
So for the viewers that don't know what we're talking about, most rural communities they didn't have telephone lines like we have today. Mind you, we don't have telephone lines anymore, do we?
No. Yeah. No, there's no line.
Yeah. It's called GPS tracking. Apple's smart, right? Anyway, they would have one line going out to said community, right? And 3 and 4 people that lived on that road would share the same telephone line. Different rings, right? Yeah, 1 ring, 2 rings, 3 rings, 4 rings. And they would be back to back. So I'd go ring, ring, or ring, 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 right? Not just ring. Oh,
and everybody was assigned a different.
Yeah. You remember that because you did experience some of that, right? Didn't you? I thought you told me a story.
How fucking old do you think I am?
Well, just as old as I am.
Yeah,
and I didn't have one of those, but my aunt and uncle had that.
Okay.
Right?
I didn't have one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they were a 2-ring family, if I believe.
Okay.
And but the odd thing about that is, and trust me when I say this, back in the day, because I would have been like, I don't know, 8, 9 years old or something like that, right? And still a pretty good kid, hadn't learned how to, get into trouble quite yet. But there would be no eavesdropping, 0.
Oh, for sure there was. So your neighbors are the 3-ring. And you're the 2-ring.
Yeah.
And when you hear the 3-ring, you run because you want to know what's going on at the neighbors. For sure.
Really?
For sure.
I think we grew up on the different sides of the tracks.
There was no privacy. Are you kidding me? And if
that just, it blows my mind.
Think about how stupid you'd have to be to actually have a private conversation over a line where you've got 10 families in the neighborhood that could listen in.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
That's, what?
0 privacy.
Okay, that is zero privacy, but what do you...
Yeah.
So we've come a long way since
So,
then.
you know what you do? This is what you do. So, if I had some juicy gossip, and I'm phoning my neighbor that's a 3-ring, I don't know if the 2-ringers or the 1-ringers have jumped into that call. So I'd say, Karen, I've got some gossip. You and I need to meet on the dirt road, like ride your horse up the road, right? Because they didn't have vehicles back then, right?
Yeah. Because she never did this. Yeah.
You would never say anything gossipy over a party line. Because that's a non-party.
No.
Yeah, no.
So, okay, so let's kind of circle back then. So if you wouldn't do that over a party line, because...
A privacy issue.
The privacy issue.
It's not secure.
But people... Would you do that in a room today? So, okay, so then we got cords on phones. You remember when we got cords, right?
Yeah, because I had a sister.
And they were 40 feet long.
I had a sister,
right?
And we had 2 extensions. So whenever she was talking to her boyfriend, I'd pick up the other line and listen to all their gossip. I was the younger sister. I was the pain in the ass.
And
sure.
did you hold the little plunger down so it would go click?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like
or
sneaky.
try to. Because if you listen real hard, you could hear that, and you'd go, hang up the other phone, right? You'd hang up the other phone, right?
Yeah. No, if I picked
and
it
then
up
Dad would come on the phone and he'd go, supper time.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, exactly.
Right? Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But point is, so every phone, I think, came with like a 10-foot cord probably or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you could go to this, or you could buy 40-foot cords or 20-foot cords, and they would just get stretched to 40 feet long.
And the phone was always in the kitchen.
Always
in the kitchen,
yeah.
right? And depending on where your bedroom was, if you had a 40-foot cord, you could run it down the hallway and
close the door. Yeah. And they don't make shit like that anymore.
And that was before call waiting and before voicemail and all that shit. So potentially you could have grandma trying to call the house for 2 hours, and it's a busy signal.
But you would have the conversation in your kitchen or your living room or the hallway or wherever the cord reached to, and everybody in your house would hear the conversation. So there wasn't this dire need for privacy, right? Because
you just didn't have it. It wasn't available.
You didn't have it, or
it wasn't
you know what?
An option.
We didn't really tune into, like, if Mom was on the phone and she was doing her thing with
the neighbors or the
aunt or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You just kind of tuned it out. It was like background noise, you know, because you were still playing and doing your homework or whatever the case may be.
You did homework?
Well, yeah.
Right, when you were 8 or 9. Okay, yeah.
I got by.
Okay,
right?
okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
I stayed in between the lines and stuff like that, so, you know. But anyway, my point is, today's day, we can't take a call without leaving the room. And we're on wireless phones. Right? Because we want that privacy. Because we want to talk about the person that's in the same room with us, in a sense. Like, we've come that far, society, you know? So we excuse ourselves or we get on the phone. And why do people, when they're talking on the phone, as soon as they put it up to their head, they got to yell? Do you notice that? People, when they're on cell phones, talk louder. And I don't know why that is.
That's interesting. See, I always put my phone on speakerphone because I can hear better that way. But I'll tell you right now, if I'm in the kitchen with Karen on speakerphone, I tell her she's on speakerphone. Because if you walk in the room,
you have to.
I don't want Karen to be, you know, trashing you.
Right, because
that's my job.
She's going to say you're fat.
She's going
that I'm fat.
Oh, she'd say you're fat. Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
It wasn't even a knee jerk. It was just, you just went there.
No. But you know what? If Karen and I really wanted to talk about...
You know what? I'm going to block you, I think.
No, if Karen and I really wanted to talk about you and it was private, I would meet her for lunch. I'm not going to... Yeah. But we've lost that face-to-face.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
It really bothers me. We text, we send emails, and I think... this next generation is going to have communication issues because they hide behind all of this stuff and they can't go face to face. So if I'm your boss and I'm having a problem with you, we can sit down and go, you know what, Sean, you need to start showing up on time. Like 8:30 is your shift or whatever. Yeah.
Well, I don't get up till 9. So.
Well, then you'd be fired. But I'm not going to text you and go, Sean, this is your first warning. Sean, this is your second warning. Yeah. Like that's not you don't do that, right? Yeah. That's a closed door, one-on-one, face-to-face. We need to talk. You're not pulling your weight, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you're pulling your weight, but you're not coming in on time. Yeah.
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 Well, because I don't get up till 9. Like, is that a problem?
Well, then I'd just say this isn't a good fit for you.
I'd say, hey, where's the HR office, right? But,
Yeah.
Getting back to the topic of cell phone etiquette, we've become this texting, I don't even know what word to describe it as, keyboard warriors, right? I mean,
and you're a slave to your phone.
You kind of are, yeah, not kind of, you definitely are a slave to your phone. So you've actually hoarded yourself out to your device, right? And you know what? Like when we opened up the segment, I said, this is my personal property, right? So when it rings, I always put it on silent. Actually, I'll talk about this. So if G-Lenda and I are sitting here, which, we're visiting, let's say, I will shut my ringer off, I'll shut my notifications off, and just put my phone down. That doesn't mean I won't check it, but I'm to the destination of where I was headed, right? So then we finish up with our session. I would get back in my vehicle and I would turn my ringer back on, because you might want to follow up with me, and drive to wherever I'm going next, right? And just say, hey, can you get milk or something like that. But the second I shouldn't say the second, when I get to my next destination, I will, 15, 20 minutes will go by and I'll flick my ringer off again, because I'm at where I need to be, and that's the undivided attention. I still will periodically open my phone and check it, but it's my property. Right? And it's for my leisure, not yours. It's not for Billy Bob's or...
I'll give you that. Okay, so if we went out for dinner, 2 hours at the keg, right? We're going out for dinner.
Yeah.
And we booked this. It's my birthday, just say.
Yeah.
So is it okay for you to be on your phone
Absolutely
when we're
not.
having
Nope.
my birthday dinner?
Nope.
Have you ever been to a restaurant and you see people sitting in restaurants?
Yeah.
A couple.
Whole families.
And
whole families.
Whole families. Why didn't you stay home?
Yeah.
Like, stay home.
Yeah.
You're sitting in the restaurant, glued to your phone.
That's people watching, right?
Oh,
I love doing that, and
it's so sad, though.
it is sad, and we've become a society that's slave to this technology. It's horrible. It is horrible.
It is.
And you know what? And these, you know what? It's another show. I was going to say something else, make another comment, but that's another show. What I'm thinking of in my mind. It is taught us to be sneaky. I'm trying to think of a real descriptive word where I'm not going to offend too many people.
More than you've already offended people tonight?
Well, that's just you, right?
Okay, yeah.
But anyway.
All right.
The
sneaky.
It's like the phone has taught us to be not truthful. Do you know that? Like the keyboard warriors thing, right? Because everybody puffs their chest out when they're behind a keyboard or a text thread or social media comment that they don't agree with politically, personally.
But they never tell you to your face.
Never.
Just hide behind the phone.
But they get so nasty in a text thread or a social media post because they're bigger than your house. Like they've eaten all the Popeye spinach in the world, and they're just gonna lay.
My dad's bigger than your dad.
Yeah, it becomes that, right? And it's bad. And then if you actually catch somebody doing that and you confront them, it sucks the wind out of their sails.
That's not what I meant. I didn't mean to say that.
You read it wrong.
You read it wrong.
Yeah, really?
No, I've got it right here, and I know how I read it.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm not going to be a bigot, and I've done it myself. I know I've done it myself. But it really makes you look within and go, something's wrong. Something needs to change.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not okay.
Not okay.
How many? I'd be interested to know how many people get into these. I call them bat texts when everybody has family, right? And I call them a bat text because, the bat sign from Batman comes down and Batman goes flying off. But bat texts to me and my family are everybody. One person usually starts the thread and there's 20 people in it all of a sudden, and you've only got 4 people in your family, and there's numbers showing up that you don't have a clue who that is, because they're not in your contact list. And it's just, and when you're at work and it's bing, 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 right? All the annoying tones and stuff. And
it might be a potluck. I'll bring potatoes, and somebody jumps in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Who cares?
Yeah.
What do you bring in? Like, let's just get through the
and then you get,
main
and
event.
then you get, well, who's going to be there?
Yeah.
Well, what are we having for supper? What are you bringing? Nothing.
Yeah.
Right. So, anyways, it's a time sucker. Can aggravate you. There's this topic is pretty big, actually.
This could probably be a whole weekend thing for sure.
Or, really?
Cell phone etiquette for sure.
Would I go that far?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would. Yeah.
Would I?
You would. Yeah.
But it's it's the future. I know it's the future, but it sucks.
It does. It does.
It actually sucks.
Yeah, I think honestly, everybody needs to unplug more and go off the grid more, because it'll drive you friggin' crazy.
Yeah.
I refuse to be a slave to my phone. I refuse. So anybody out there that wants to text me, don't expect an instant response, because it won't happen. And you know that, right? It's like fucking. Dot fucking. Let's.
Oh yeah, we got. Okay, yeah, we got it. I almost forgot about that piece.
Are you kidding me? That's the best part. That is the best part. And you didn't know what this was before.
Okay, well, hang on a second.
Or did you invent it?
We have to lay it out.
Okay,
so
all right.
Whoa. You talked about phubbing.
Phubbing, yeah.
Right.
That's when you're talking to me and I'm like, I'm on my phone. I'm phubbing you.
Yeah. So, and I had never heard of phubbing, these new invented words.
Actually, I think it's in.
Is it actually in the dictionary?
I think it might be in the dictionary. I'm not sure, but it should be.
Yeah.
Because everyone does it.
Can you pull it up on there? Or
yeah.
No?
Yeah. Sure.
Like, is it just Google it and see if it's even a word? While you're doing that, I'll just tell the story a little bit here. So I had never heard of what phubbing is. So I said to Glenda, "What is phubbing?" I think it was a little more colorful the question, but never heard of it. So she explained it to me what it was, and I'm just shaking my head. Is it there?
Phubbing is the act of snubbing someone you're talking to in person in favor of someone on your phone. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're having lunch, and I'm texting Karen, and I'm totally ignoring you. Yeah. Somehow Karen's more important than you when I'm face to face with you, and that's totally not okay.
Yeah.
Never.
So same day. I'm pretty sure it was this. Was it this? I think it was the same day, and we got talking about phubbing, and Glenda says to me, "Did you bring it up?" And you said.
You were texting somebody and your phone was sitting up, and I said, they're getting dots right now. That's
what it was. You said no, I got it now. It came back to me. So I was texting bat text to it doesn't matter who it was. And there were only 4 people in the bat text, but Glenda and I were having a conversation at the same time. I said, just let me send this text.
And it wasn't private because you had
it wasn't private at all.
You had it wide open.
I said, but just
table.
let me finish. I got to respond to this text. So I pick up my phone and I'm doing my thing, and then in mid thought of my text, I put the phone down and got back into a conversation with Glenda, because that was important too. And these guys can wait, whatever. So she goes, "You can't do that, right?" And I said, "Do what?" And she says, "You can't just leave your text hanging there, and because they'll get the dots, right?" And I'm like, "No, they won't." I said, "Here, look." And then, so I picked up my phone and we started texting back and forth. And I said, "Watch now. I'll delete my text, and then the dots will disappear." And they did. They actually disappeared. Point is, I looked at her. She goes, "I do that to you, or I used to do that to you all the time." I looked at her. This wasn't a word, and I don't think that's actually in the dictionary.
It should be.
And I looked at her and I said, "You're dot fucking me."
I used to.
Yeah.
So do you want to?
And she says, "Is that a thing?" And I said, "I don't know. I think I just made that word up. Is it actually in there?"
Yeah, but it's an expression or phrase. A dot fuck is an expression or phrase used when someone asks or demands you to do something that's ridiculously obnoxious. So it doesn't fit. I think your definition of dot fucking fits.
For sure.
For sure.
So
For
how
sure.
many people can relate to that, right? The ... and you're just hanging there waiting for a response, and you're getting nothing, but they're typing back, they're thinking, they're
And then
they're
the dots disappear.
collaborating. They're,
Okay, sucker. I used to do that
and
too
they're
all the time.
dot fucking
Right?
you.
The dots are coming.
Yeah.
We're back and forth.
Yeah.
And the dots are coming. And I think, I got to rethink this. And so then
Yeah.
I would go out. And then you would ask me something. And I wouldn't answer that either because I'm still processing. So
Because you're dot fucking
Well, I
me.
kind of fucked with your head a little bit.
Yeah.
And
then you just delete it and don't send anything.
Well, no, then I maybe wait a couple hours because I'm meeting Karen for lunch. And
Right.
so it's like, you know what? I'll get back to him after lunch.
Yeah.
And then you're left hanging. And then there's a few texts going, are you still
right.
there? Are you there?
Yeah.
Like, everything okay?
Yeah. So the next time that happens to you guys, just
And it will, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Just respond with say, stop dot fucking me. I got better things to do.
Come
Right?
on,
That's a conversation.
It's pretty fun to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Have we nailed this topic?
I think we kind of went around the table a couple times.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
again, we were very interested in to know what your experience is, man. Good, bad, or ugly, man. Like we want to hear about it, right?
Send us your ideas.
Yeah.
And don't forget to subscribe, right?
Yeah, for sure.
We're going to be back next week too.
We will be back weekly for sure. We're not 100% certain of the day just yet, but once we get a better workflow going, we will be like Johnny on the spot. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So next week we're talking about shutdown words.
Yeah.
Like things that just shut conversation down with your partner. Like whatever. Or forget about it.
Yeah, I got this.
But do you really have it? Or you know what? I can't talk about this right now.
Yeah.
I just need to walk away. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's
Shut down words. It's going to be a good episode because
friggin' rights.
when you get shut down in a conversation, and we'll just leave you with this little tidbit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you get shut down in a conversation, you may as well flip the person off that you're talking to. In other words, I am done chatting with you because you're a moron, because that's what we hear.
Yeah.
Right? So tune in next week.
Okay. And don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah.
That's it. All right.
Yeah. And so for Let's Talk About That, I am Seckert, and this is
G. Linda.
and we'll see you guys in the next one.